Hello everybody and welcome to this week's episode of Dream Team Tonic, proudly sponsored by Beer 52. Thank you to all those people who have used the sign-up code in the last few weeks and got themselves a free case of 8 unique craft beers from Beer 52, and all they had to do is pay the delivery cost of £5.95. The website, for those of you that don't know it, is beer52.com/tonic. No spaces, it's not case sensitive. Just get that entered into your browser and pick yourself up 8 unique craft beers from Beer 52. It's the largest beer club in the world. Me, Ben, and James have been enjoying them for the last few weeks. I've got to say that there's some pretty good beers in there. Beers that you wouldn't usually find. Each month, members are sent a case with a different theme. There's lots of different themes. There's been Belgium, North and South Korea, California, New Zealand. I mean, when have you ever found yourself sipping a craft ale from North Korea? It's not very often. This gives you the opportunity to sample some fine ales and fine beers from around the world. If you don't like the dark ales, there is a pale ale option, so just choose the light option. You can pause or cancel the subscription at any time. It comes with a magazine and 2 snacks. Everything to set you up to listen to the Dream Team Tonic lads talk you through the game weeks. The theme changes every month, so you're never drinking the same ales. So yeah, again, go to beer52.com/tonic. You don't need to enter the code in there. That'll take you directly to the page, which will get you this sign-up offer. So welcome to episode 9 of the Dream Team Tonic podcast. With me, as usual, is the co-host, James. You there, James?
I'm here, mate.
Ben, you there?
Hiya, mate.
All right, pal. And after a late fitness test, we have been joined by Fergi, suffering from COVID. But you're well enough to join us. Are you there, mate?
I am, buddy. It's great to be on. Thank you very much for having me on again.
Oh, we're happy to have you on. We were getting a bit nervous. We thought we might be missing you for a month, but it's good to have you on. Glad that you're recovering, mate.
Thank you very much.
And you might as well start us off, Fergie, with your team and show us how well that's done this week.
Of course, I have to. Flipping heck, what a week! I was saying I can't ever remember a week like it in Dream Team having such a low scoring weekend. I scored a massive 11 points this weekend. I do have Sanchez playing as we speak, actually. So actually, as we speak, I can brag a little bit because I'm on 16 points, aren't we? Because you're on for a clean sheet with 5 minutes gone. But yeah, I've got Sanchez in goals. I've got Trent, who scored a -2. I got Maguire. I think he got his first rating or his second rating of the season.
Wow.
For 3 points. I got Rudiger -1. Bruno blank. Torres did not play. Traore blank. Benrahma with 3, and then Lukaku and Ronaldo both blanks, and Salah with 8 points. So a tough old week. And but I think it's probably fair to say, looking at yours guys' scores and kind of looking at the leaderboards and things, that a lot of us had a tough week, didn't we? I think.
Yeah, it's been one of those weeks, hasn't it?
Definitely. We'll go on to my side. Only marginally better. 14 points for me. Allison -2. Alexander Arnold -2. Robertson -1. That weren't expected against Brentford, to be fair. But there you are. My only scoring defender, Semedo, got me a clean sheet yesterday, but then come off injured. So, bit of a tough week for it back line. Fernandez missing that last minute penalty. 0 points. Mahrez, 0. Benrahma, who I brought in for the not playing Torres, got me 3 points. Traore came on and strangely never managed to get to his usual 7 rating.
If Jimenez had have squared to him in the last moment, he would have got the goal. I couldn't believe he didn't square to him.
I mean, Jimenez probably had to go through his head saying, "Nah, he can't finish his dinner this way. I can't give him ball." He would have had no chance. But it was there, weren't it? It was such an easy pass.
It was.
Devastated. But yeah, Lukaku, Ronaldo both blanking, and Salah just doing the business as usual. He could have had a bit of a hatful, Salah, to be fair. But yeah, 14 points. Like you say, everyone's in the same boat, really. Unless you've got the City block. I think a few of them teams did well. Ben, go on. Enlighten with how well your team did, mate.
I mean, I'm doing even better than you guys. 8 points so far. With Sanchez playing now. Alexander Arnold -2, Cresswell 0, Regulon 0, but he got an assist, so better than -2.
Yeah.
Wan-Bissaka, customary 7 rating and a 3 points, but he's suspended for the Champions League. Bruno 0, Torres did not play, hoping he plays in the Champions League. Barnes -1 for a booking. Salah 8, Kane 0, Ronaldo 0.
Tough week.
Tough week. Awful. Bring on the transfers.
Right, James. Go on.
Well, I think Fergie, you need to get your violin out, mate, because I've only got 8 points myself. Shocking, a shocker of a game week, as a lot of people have had. I mean, I've brought in Ryan Bertrand, who's got me the grand total of -3 so far. He got -1 this week. I've got Reece James, who I thought I'd get him in nice and early last week. It looks like he's now out injured for some time.
Sorry, mate.
It's not having a lot of luck at the moment. According to Ben Dinnery, the average time out for a high ankle sprain is 56 days. The quickest return is 28 days, and the longest is 113 days. So I think Reece James is going to have to come out as one of the first transfers, unfortunately. So my grand plan of getting on the Chelsea defence ahead of the game is backfired. But that's just bad luck, really, isn't it? So
Yeah, of course.
he's a good asset, and I'll be looking to get him back in at some point when he's fit. Salah was the only highlight for me this week. He's continuing to be Mr. Consistent. He's returned in every game week. I mean, he only got 3 in one week, but he hasn't had a blank yet. So he's doing well. The rest of the team is similar to everyone else's, so only 8 points. And I just wanted to say a shout out to Connor, who had Sarr as his goalkeeper.
Yeah.
He got star man and ended up with the assist and 15 points. I mean, some people have all the luck, don't they?
Yeah, he's got more assists. He's got more assists than Adama Traore for Wolves, hasn't he, the goalkeeper?
Well, Sarr is the only player to get an assist, isn't he, in the whole Wolves team? I was reading earlier.
Bloody hell.
That is mad, isn't it?
It's incredible.
Brilliant. Well, so that's that's that part out of the way. A little bit traumatic, those scores, but I think last week we did have some quite low scores, and once the European games, the cup games, I think it was, that came around, just seemed to boost them up. Ended up on going from a slow week to quite a very good week last week. So it can all change during this
we're only
week.
halfway there.
Yeah. Right. We'll dive into some questions. Andrew Barnett has asked, after Villa's result this weekend against United, I feel that we can't be 100% sure of a win or a clean sheet. Forgetting the extra Euro games, can you name 2 midfielders and 2 defenders, less than 2.5 million, that you would feel confident of setting and forgetting? James, for the next 6 game weeks, he's
For the
saying.
next 6 game weeks. Well, I mean, I'll be honest. There isn't a lot at 2.5 million.
No.
You're struggling at that point, which does sort of suggest that maybe you need to be looking at the balance of the team. But I think you've got to be, even if you move that budget up to 3 million, there's not a great deal of choice. It's only the premium, certainly in the defence, it's only the premium defenders that seem to be returning any points at the moment. So yeah, United have been disappointing. Like you've suggested in your question, I think the only players I could pick out was Decore for 2.4 million. He's got 31 points so far. Damari Gay, 2.4 million as well, 29 points in the midfield slots, that is. And for Wolves, have some good fixtures. If you want to take that risk, Roman Saiss is 2.4 million. He's got 24 points so far. Eric Dyer is obviously potential rotation risk there, but seems to be starting at the moment. He's only 2.3 million, and they've kind of got past those a couple of tricky fixtures now, and their run going into October isn't bad. Like I said, there's not a lot of choice at this sort of 2.5 million and less budget you've given us, Andrew. So yeah, I'm not sure I'd be considering any of these set and forget though. Going forwards, Villa's fixtures are getting a bit better. They might provide a bit of value at the back. But yeah, we're really scraping the barrel at 2.5 million and less, I'm afraid.
Don't shoot me, but Spurs, right? Obviously, their assets, the defensive assets, especially at the start of the season, we said about how cheap they were and if there were any value, it was in the Spurs side. They ended up keeping 3 clean sheets in the first 3 games, and it all looked good. The fixtures, though, now for Spurs are very good.
Yeah.
I mean, that result yesterday, I mean, you'll be first to admit, Fergi, they were completely out of sorts, lacking ideas. Arsenal were pretty good. I don't know whether that's Spurs made them look that good or it was a bit of both. But Spurs' assets are still very cheap because obviously they've dropped again. And that run of fixtures, what do you think, Fergie?
Yeah, I think in fantasy it's always about looking forward. I'm sure we said on last month's pod when I was on when Arsenal had just lost their last 3, looked absolutely awful. I think we said Arsenal are too good, to just lose every game, and it's it's the same for Spurs, right? They like every team has a slump, and obviously Spurs are massively in the middle of a slump at the moment, but they will turn around at some point, and I think it's kind of astute fantasy management to kind of take a gamble now and then, and yes, it's worth remembering that we're only kind of 1/6, through the European spell now as well, and obviously, as you guys just reminded me of here, Spurs drew their opening game, but they've got a lot of games to play. So I think
they've got a cracker on Thursday.
I think it's worth looking. Yeah, it is worth looking and not just kind of writing off players. I mean, an Arsenal player is a prime example. In this last month of teams like really good teams only need a flick of a switch to turn on their form, and Spurs definitely one of them.
Yeah, the players are too good to just you can't write them off for the season.
No, exactly.
It's just a slump. What about you, Ben? Obviously, we kind of gone away from the 2.5 million thing, but Spurs assets are that lowly priced. One that I seen was Ogbonna at West Ham.
Yeah.
Good fixtures, cheap. I know he's under 2.5 million.
2.1
million. They're not keeping the most clean sheets, West Ham, but
no,
with the fixtures, they're going to have the opportunities to, and they could easily rack a few together.
Yeah.
And
again, sorry, mate. I noted there when I looked at West Ham, when they played Diop in the side, they played him in the Europa League and in the Carling Cup against United, and they come out with clean sheets in both games. He's averaging 8 points a game. He's only played 2 games. If he could be in the side, maybe that could strengthen the side. But just keep an eye on him. But Ogbonna's not really got many points. I think he's got about 3 points. But he's so cheap and he's starting all the Premier League games.
Yeah.
So, it could be one, like you said.
I know, Ben, you messaged me a player last week, didn't you, as well? Salisu.
Yeah.
For Southampton. Obviously not in Europe. But I just look, he is on 32 points. And has he got 3 star man, is it, Ben?
I think he got 2 star man and a goal. He got a goal last week.
Yeah, and their fixtures have been really, really tough, but they're really improving as well. I think he's 2.1, I want to say, which just looking for anyone to kind of fill.
Yeah,
if he's scoring well on the matrix and the fixtures are looking good, he could be one. Looking at others like Lookman at 2 million for Leicester, obviously, will play a part. And Harvey Barnes now, I think he's down now to 3.3, I want to say. Now, again, it kind of looking forward, Leicester have been pretty awful, but their fixtures do turn now and they do improve. And Bertrand, as James can attest to,
Yeah.
I got Bertrand in one of my teams. He just looks he looks a really good pick because he's a fantastic player playing for a really good team, but he just can't seem to do anything at the moment. I've got him in a couple of different formats, and he's been awful. But if he can just score, if he can just tick
Keep a
along
clean
and get a
sheet.
couple of points every week at that price, that's all you need, isn't it?
Yeah, he's been taking all the corners and free kicks as well, so
Exactly. Yeah.
it's an interesting pick, but just they can't seem to keep a clean sheet at the moment.
You say that hopefully that'll turn with the fixtures though.
Yeah, decent fixtures coming up.
Would you be keeping Bertrand then if you had him in your side, Ben? Do you think?
If I had to, yeah, budget wise.
Yeah, well, we've got transfers coming up. I think he's one of the first on my list to get out, but I probably need another Chelsea guy in there. But I'll have to downgrade elsewhere to. He's only worth 2 million, so
Yeah, but he's got 2 games as well, hasn't he? He's got the European games, so
yeah, that's true.
Could
Yeah.
gain you some points back playing against Legia and Spartak.
Yeah,
And he's got the cup game as well, Brighton. So plenty of games there.
Silver at Man City is 2.8, which is quite cheap, and he tends to go on a run every now and then, don't he? With this mixture now, they've got all these matches. He'll play at least once a week.
Yeah,
definitely. He's looked good, hasn't he?
Arsenal's got nice fixtures as well, and they seem to have turned the corner now. Smith Rowe's only 2.3 million.
That's cheap, yeah.
And he's 18 points in the last 2 games, 2 goals and 1 assist.
Good stuff.
Obviously, the only trouble is Arsenal. You're used to them being in Europe. They're not in Europe this year.
Yeah.
So 2 games less, but they do have the cup game.
They still have the cup game. I was about to say that. Yeah.
Against Leeds.
Yeah, Leeds at home. Nice, really nice run, I think.
Just on the question, I suppose, of Europe and non-Europe. So last year, I was very much pro-Europe.
Yeah.
In it, all my players had to play in Europe. What are your guys' thoughts on that at the moment? Are any of you getting any kind of clamourings to move away and move on to maybe some Arsenal players, or maybe Leeds players or anything like that? Or are you all pretty much kind of sticking with the European teams?
I think last year it was a lot easier to get straight onto all the European players because there wasn't so many, how'd you say, big hitters like, what do you call them again? Premiums.
Oh, the premium,
yeah. So there wasn't so many last year. There was only like Fernandes, Kane, Salah, and KDB, but he was pretty much in and out, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So, but this year now with the big 3 up front and with Salah, with De Bruyne back and Fernandes, it's a bit harder, I think. So
where they've priced the Chelsea defenders as well is really tough, and they've risen so quickly as well, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's
so you're going to need a couple of enablers.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, because you're looking at it now. I mean, you're probably looking at that. You look at that City back line, you look at that Chelsea back line. You probably wanted a bit of both, or you wanted to block one of them at least. And it's trying to do that with them front 3. Obviously, you're leaving Kane out. You're probably going to have to sacrifice Fernandes. Or are you going to even be able to get De Bruyne? It's going to be so tough to have a bit of everything. So it's going to be a big balancing act. It's going to be interesting to see which tactic comes out on top. Whether it's going to be going really heavy at the back line and sacrificing completely the midfield, or having a bit of both. Like you say, maybe an enabler at back, enabler in midfield, and then having De Bruyne or Fernandes or a Chelsea block or a City block. Yeah.
I do think I think it's worth considering having one non-European player if that player's in form and getting points. Some of these big hitters, or some of these mid-priced players that, particularly in the midfield that we've got, aren't necessarily tearing up trees. I think if you could sacrifice one of those for a real cheapie, it could enable you to spend the funds throughout the rest of the team to have that good front line and those couple of Chelsea defenders. I don't think there's any other way of doing it. A lot of people have got the sacrifice in the goalkeeper, I see. That's probably a sensible move because the goalkeepers have got a ceiling, haven't they? Especially in Dream Team, they never seem to get mega points.
Apart from Jose Sarr.
Apart from the odd outlier like that one,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think going back to Fergie's question is like, I always like to have it big on European. I like to punish myself midweek when Man City completely rotate the whole team and you've put somebody in because you know he's played 2 games that week and he comes on as a sub in Premier League and he don't even play in Europe. You're kicking yourself. But I mean, I think players that are out of Europe in the so-called smaller teams like the Southamptons, the Evertons, they are going to be kind of like flash in the pans, and you've got to be on them as they hit a bit of form, and you've got to jump off them at the right time as well, because they're not going to, like Andros Townsend, we've said it the other week, we slated him a little bit and then he goes and he's got a bit of a run. But then if you're going to be bringing him in this week, I said this last week, is he going to score again next week?
I doubt it.
He's not being Norwich every week, is he? That's the thing.
He's on pens now as well.
But then Richarlison or Calvert-Lewin will be back shortly. He won't be on pens. He might not even get in the team. He'll be back on bench, and then all of a sudden that's gone. It's about being on at the right time. If you're on him at the right time, it's brilliant. But if you start to chase performances from the previous week, it's not going to work out.
Absolutely.
I think you just have to stick by the players. I think Mahrez stung a lot of people last week when he played in the cup game, and he got a bit of a haul. 20 points, was it?
It was 20 points. I thought we'd agreed not to discuss Mahrez, Tony. It just upsets me.
But he's prime example. He's prime example of he takes somebody out and bang, and he's probably the worst one for it. Mahrez, he loves it. Yeah, for me, European players mainly, like I say, an enabler, a goalkeeper, or one defender, midfielder, just to give you that cash for the premiums. What do you reckon, Ben?
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
I think covered it all there.
Right, we've got a Connor. Connor's asked a question. Are expensive defenders the way to go this year? He's not sure there's many cheap defenders are bringing in the points like other years. We touched on that, James.
Well, yeah, I think it is the way to go. To be honest, I was doing some research earlier today, and that there really isn't many cheaper defenders. Like I said, if we were given a budget earlier of 2.5 million, there's nothing there. If you move it to 3 million, there's nothing there. I think there's probably more value in the midfield, in the slightly cheaper assets than there is at the back at the moment, which is unusual. It's usually the other way round. But at the moment, I'm not seeing anyone standing out. Hopefully, some good cheap defenders will emerge as the season goes on.
Yeah,
got to keep an eye on those fixtures. Try and predict who that might be. But yeah, I think big at the back is probably the way to go at the moment.
Yeah, Fergie.
Yeah, definitely, and I think we're seeing a bit of like a bit of a transition now from the start. From like the start of the season, everyone kind of sets up their team to try and get a really good start before then trying to move their team into into this European kind of block. But in that time, I think this year it's been massively disrupted, obviously, by Ronaldo and Lukaku, which just completely blew the game up in terms of their prices, right? Because what are they? That's 14 million if you wanted both of them off the bat. Yeah. And I think that the last month has been, right, how do we get those guys into our team? I think that's been the priority. Whereas I think now the priority for me over the next. We've got 5 transfers in October, five in November. It should be right now. How do we use our transfers to get all those Chelsea and Man City big expensive defenders in at the back? Because the problem is, and we mentioned this last month, is that if you don't get them in now, they just keep on rising and they just get out of reach, don't they? So I think for me, my project now over this next week or two is to try and work out. I think I'm taking out Bruno. I don't think he's going to be worth it. With Ronaldo there, and his price, I just I don't think he offers the value. If you think actually, I think he's only scored. I think it's 39 points this season, I want to say, but that includes a hat trick on the opening day. So he's only actually scored, what was it, 11 points in the last
something like that. It might be 13, but in
the last not
a lot,
6 odd games, or whatever it is. So I don't think he's worth it. I can't see him scoring any more hat tricks anytime soon. And I'll be looking now. I've already got Rudiger and Trent, which I'm really, really happy with, but I'll be looking, just for example, how to get Cancelo and maybe Azpilicueta into my team sharpish, and maybe upgrade the keeper as well. And then building all through October and November, so you can just kind of, leave your team. I'm personally not very tempted to look outside of Europe, because as we know, when Europe is in full swing, the points just come, rolling in. And I think if we try and get off them and be a bit too clever, I think not only will we miss out on points, but then we're wasting our transfers and those players just getting more and more expensive. So my project is now just to be get them in at all costs. How about you guys?
I totally agree with that. Yeah, it's interesting though, because it's a bit of a change in strategy for someone like yourself, as I know quite often you like to save your transfers till the end of the month to set yourself up in advance, but you can't afford to do that anymore, can you? Because these players, like you say, are just going to keep rising and rising, and if you don't get them in now, you're not going to be able to.
No, I think for my team personally, I've got one left for September. So we're going to wait to see what happens this week's now in the Champions League, and see who's going to rise and who's going to drop. But my plan is probably to take out Bruno, to move to, I don't know, maybe Azpilicueta, for example, and then use use 1 or 2 of my early transfers in October then to get to Cancelo. And if I've got enough, maybe the keeper as well. I want to get rid of Maguire, because he's just, I don't know, United at the back. I think they have been unlucky, a few deflected goals and bits and pieces, but he's not getting the ratings like he was last year at all either, and their fixture turning as well soon. So if I can, I would love to be able to go Bruno, Maguire and Sanchez to something like, I don't know, Azpilicueta, Cancelo and Mendy. I'm not sure if I can do those exact moves, but that would give me a premium keeper, premium back four, 3 cheap mids, maybe, even though I would like Grealish if I can, and then the premiums up front. I think that'd be all right. And even though my rank isn't the best at the moment, I think it would help me slowly climb then. The plan at the moment.
Sounds like a good plan to me. Ben?
I had a quick jot down of the team I'd like, ideally, and it costs 62 million. So I'm not going to be getting that in a hurry. I'm going to have to use a couple of enablers, like we said.
Yeah.
My best team's on 54.9 million now, so going to have to try and find some money from somewhere.
Back at couch.
Yeah. Yeah, I need a wild card, me, for that team. Yeah. Well, you never know. Kane's got this mirror on Thursday. Hopefully a hat trick.
Yeah. I think planning my team is probably Fernandez has got to go. Like Fergie said, I don't think he offers the same value as what he was without Ronaldo there. Especially now he's missed that penalty as well. you can see Ronaldo, little glint in his eye there.
That
Like I
penalty.
said,
I was going to say that ball's still rising now, isn't it?
oh, Jesus, it
Unbelievable.
was a wild one. But yeah, I'm sure Ronaldo with fist pumping inside. He knows he's on penalties from now on. I've got Semedo, who obviously I need to tidy up at the back, and I'm probably gonna. I need in this certain team. I'm probably gonna stick with Liverpool with Trent and Robertson. Probably gonna either go for Chelsea with Mendy and either Aspie or Rudiger. I'd love Alonso. I just know if I put Alonso in, he's going out the side. But every week that goes by, he's so frustrating. He's such a good player to have in Dream Team and all other formats. He's a brilliant fantasy football player. But you just know, don't you? It's your luck that when you put him in, he'll be off out of the team. But yeah, Cancelo, love to get Cancelo in there.
He's 5.5 million at the moment, and he's going to rise again on Thursday.
That's the trouble, isn't it? Yeah, so it's one of them. It's going to be tricky to get everything you want. Like Ben says, 62 million. You're not going to be able to do that. But a couple of enablers, and we should be able to get most of what we want. Right, a team to look at here. Ian Tonic Hall. He said he's looking at 2 changes that he definitely wants to make. Is it worth taking Fernandes out? He's no transfers left, 100k in the bank. There's his team. I will stick it up on screen so everyone can see it who's watching on YouTube. What changes would you make to that, James?
Well, I do think Fernandes is probably the best way to free up some funds.
Reece James as well. They're injured. Like I say, it's probably going to be long term.
Isn't he? So yeah, there's a few things I can see there that need addressing. So Reece James and Bertrand. And Shaw. To be fair, let's look at Shaw. Man United's fixtures are not so great at the moment.
And it'll be dropping in value again.
Shaw might. I don't know how long. Have we had an injury update on Shaw? I know he went off injured, didn't he? So, has anyone heard how long he's out for?
I've not.
No. So, I mean, I think priority there is to make some changes in defence. I see he's got Willock in midfield as well. He finished the last season scoring every game, didn't he? Didn't he have a run of the 6 or 7 games where he scored?
Yeah.
But I think he's done nothing so far this year. Newcastle not looking great. I think Willock was probably another one for the chopping block there.
Yeah. I think you're going to be using quite a few transfers there, Ian. You've got a lot to tidy up. Fergie?
I can't see the strikers, but
Salah, Ronaldo, Lukaku, mate.
I'll just leave them then. But I think for me, out of Shaw and James, I personally think I'm not sure. We haven't really heard anything yet on James, and all right,
James, you heard about it being a high sprain, and how long that'd take to recover.
He walked
off
the
club, have we? I suppose is the thing. We haven't, had any kind of thing off the club at all. It's just, I've seen the tweet, and I think it's, it's conjecture off a doctor or a physio or something who's kind of watched it on Match of the Day.
Yeah.
If it's 6 or 7 weeks, then obviously it's time to go. But if you bear in mind that we are about to enter an international break, so by the time the players return, that'll be 3 weeks already. So if it's 3 or 4 weeks, I'd be tempted to hold on if we get news, and for a couple of reasons. I think Shaw's fixtures, United's fixtures, not looking good. I think James looks good. I also think if you sell James, you're going to find it hard to free the cash back up to get him back because he's so expensive, and you probably want him long term as well. So I think I would just hold on maybe on James, because I do think he's a fantastic asset. So personally, they're the 2 moves I would probably make are I take out Bruno to free up some funds, I'd probably do Bruno and and Willock actually first, and then Shaw third out. I'd probably do. You've got your enabler in Bertrand, who's incredibly cheap, so I think you're all right for an enabler. And then look at some of the other players you mentioned. I personally looking at players like Grealish, Cancelo, Spilicueta, players like that if you can afford them. Personally,
Yeah. Ben?
Yeah, like you just said, Willock, Fernandes looks like you don't really need him if you've got Ronaldo now, and he'll free up a lot of cash. Sure, United's fixtures are terrible, and they're not keeping clean sheets. So
they've had that nice run of fixtures at the start of the season, didn't they?
it did.
They had a big block, and they've done nothing with it.
Yeah.
I doubled up on them for that block, and they've done absolutely nothing. They've had one. I think I can remember 1 week. I can't remember who they beat with Maguire, and I had Maguire and Wan-Bissaka both scored 8 points each. But other than that, they've done absolutely nothing. Awful.
Scary.
Yeah.
Scary. Good point you make with the international break as well. Obviously, coming after the first week in October, gives a bit of breathing space. And if James, if it is only 3 to 4 weeks, you might only miss a couple of games with him. And then, like I say, you spend the money elsewhere. It's a nightmare.
It's gone. You're not going to be able to get him back, are you really?
Yeah. But obviously, keep an eye on that James injury news, as with the Shaw news. Although Shaw should really exit your team anyway. Interested to see what happens with Torres now. Obviously, with KDB back, Foden's back. Is he going to play KDB more as false 9, and Torres is going to miss out? Obviously, it's going to be interesting to see that one. He might be needing shipping off soon. Amon Tatler, will 007 Jadon Sancho come good? As he's looking at differentials in midfield. Personally, like I say about the fixtures for United, I won't go anywhere near any United players. Obviously, you keep Ronaldo up top, but for me, Jadon Sancho's looked pretty average every time I've seen him. He's not done much. But onto you guys, James. What do you reckon, mate?
Well, I was looking at his Premier League minutes earlier, and he's played 199 minutes so far in six fixtures. He's averaging 33 minutes a game. He's not getting the game time. He's not looking great when he's on the pitch. I would be with the fixtures as well. I'd be steering clear. I mean, he's certainly one to watch. He's got talent, that boy. He's only 3.5 million. I'd need to see some upturn in form before I went anywhere near him. But one to watch, but definitely not one to bring in at the moment, I'd say.
You prefer someone like Silva at 2.8, Bernardo Silva at City? As if you're looking at differentials, or someone cheaper, a cheaper option, someone who's probably going to play most games, 1 out of the 2 usually each week, and he's doing a little bit. And we know he could score a couple in a game. He's done that over the last few seasons. Fergie, what do you reckon about Sancho?
No, not for me. not for me at the moment. I'm sure he's a fantastic player. I'm sure he'd be really good for United in the years to come, but not yet. I know, he's just not getting the game time, and even when he is getting the game time, he's not dangerous, is he? So I think I'd go for Silva. Probably, they're just gonna share all the minutes still, right? And it always happens with Man City. It happens all the time. If you remember Foden last year, I had Foden for most of last year, and he barely played a Premier League minute in the first half of the season, but he was getting all his points in the Carabao Cup and the Champions League because they just all share the minutes, so they're all going to get minutes. So I think Silva is probably the one for me there. But I think my 3. So I've got Benrahma, Torres. Well, I'm still happy with it, all honesty. I think you get minutes still. I mean, he scored last week, right? And he got his 8 points. He got a rise off the back of it as well.
Yeah, true.
And I've got Adama still, who obviously he didn't get his 7 this week, but his fixtures are good. I'd probably not. I personally wouldn't concentrate on using my transfers trying to find differential midfielders. I'd probably try and use my transfers to get towards the team you want, and
Yeah.
not really focus differentials per se. I think it's a bit early for that, but
Yeah.
Bernardo Silva, if I had to say anyone.
Ben?
We've just lost our clean sheet for Sanchez as well. Whoever's got Sanchez.
Who scored?
Zaha pen right on half time.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. That hurts my FPL team more than Eric. Yeah, well, there we go. Go on, Ben. What do you reckon, Sancho?
I definitely won't be bringing him in now with them fixtures, and he's not really playing, is he, at the moment? So
No. It's a
no.
resounding no, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, struggling a little bit, United.
Shout out for Mbumo though, 1.7 million differential.
Yeah.
Playing up front as well, and Brentford look really good attacking wise, and they've got decent fixtures. A couple of difficult ones to start with, but then after that, I think they could win pretty much all them games, especially at home. They look really good at home.
I mean, they're giving everyone the game, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're looking very good, Brentford. Very good team last year at Championship. They've built that over probably 6 or 7 years of playing very good football. It's been instilled in them. Yeah, good side. Right, next question. Is it worth making your transfers before the international break in October at the risk of the players you're putting getting injured, being as they're only one game? That's from Ronaldo 9. It's a good question. Using them early and then risking them going away for the internationals. And well, Fergie, what do you think of that, mate?
Yeah, I think it is a really good idea. I always value having as much information as possible when using the transfers over a couple of points. And actually, if we look at the way the fixtures fall, then it actually turns quite a long month into quite a short month, because Saturday's the 16th of October, and there's only 2 or 3 weekends then until the end of the month we can use our transfers. So I also think the fact that City and Liverpool play each other on that opening weekend will likely cancel each other out. I think the only one, potentially really missing out on then are Chelsea. But then if you are thinking of getting rid of Bruno anyway, he is home to Everton, which isn't the worst fixture. So I definitely think there's merit there. It depends how disciplined you are, because I'm certainly going to be tempted, mainly because the price is more than anything, because the rise is just going up and down, all the time. But I think there's definitely merit in that plan for sure.
Yeah, Ben? What are you looking at doing?
I totally agree with what you just said there. It's one game week, and Chelsea, the only ones for me that have a nice fixture. So if you want to get on the Chelsea defenders, it's probably worth jumping on there. But apart from that, try and keep some back for after the international break.
Yeah. In case there's anything to tidy up.
Yeah.
Any injuries.
It's only one game, isn't it? So.
Yeah.
And for those who are chasing as well as opposed to leading, it's it can change really, really fast as well, in terms of if you're leading and you use all your transfers to try and get more ahead, and then your team gets kind of decimated over the international break. It only takes a couple of weeks for those who are chasing, who've been more disciplined, to kind of catch up. So I think there's hope for both ends there, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. What do you reckon, James?
Nothing to add on that really, apart from I always tend to try and keep 1 or 2 transfers back to the end, towards the end of the month, just in case there's injuries. But yeah, I think I agree with what Fergie and Ben have said basically.
Yeah, good stuff. FPL reaction, Louis. All right, lads. Best teams and players to target in October. We've gone over a lot of the players, the teams. Is there any teams you think we could throw out there, good fixtures that we haven't mentioned? Anybody?
I think we just quickly run over it. Tottenham's got a nice run of fixtures. West Ham, Chelsea, obviously. Man City's decent fixtures, and like I said before, Arsenal's got 5 fixtures next month.
Yeah, decent.
What do you think?
Fergie.
Leicester. I think I'd maybe add Leicester just in terms of if
but
they can turn it around.
me being a Leicester fan, I'm staying. I watch them every week, so I'm staying away from them now. I'm getting rid of them.
Oh, really? Are they not looking good at all? Are they? Are there no kind of green shoots of promise? No.
Well, he needs to get Iheanacho in the team, doesn't he? He's not playing him.
Yeah.
As soon as he come on Saturday, he changed the game.
I can't believe he dropped him because I think we said at the start of the season, like, surely the way he performed the back end of the season, he was a standout player in the whole league, wasn't he? You know, and you'd have thought it would have been his spot to lose. I find it absolutely incredible the fall from grace. Yeah, and he came on, didn't he, at Wembley and scored as well. He scored the pen, so you know it's just it's bizarre, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, as soon as Barnes came back, he put him straight back in, and then he went back to three at the front, one centre forward and two like wingers. But when Iheanacho was playing, he was playing like the front two, but he was playing as like we had a bit of a free role to drift around Iheanacho, but I think he needs to bring him back into the side personally.
I think the only other thing kind of worth mentioning there is Man United are the only team out of all the European teams that are out of the Carabao Cup as well, and there's obviously a fixture set there at the end of October. Just another thing against United, I suppose. Their fixtures are horrible, and they're out of the Carabao Cup. So I think they're the team to sell personally.
Yeah, definitely. Moving away from them. I mean, they've already lost all their value as well.
No.
It's not the best time to be selling them, to be fair, in some of the squads. But yeah, it's going to have to be done. Like I said, the fixtures aren't going to help them out in that sense. They could be as low as 2 million by the time it comes around.
A lot of people have to hold on because they can't afford to sell them.
Yeah, once you've lost the value in the team.
Yeah, and just wait for the fixtures to turn and the team to perform better because they will come round.
When they turn, and I've noticed Wan-Bissaka is only like 3 at the moment, and he'll, I expect he'll go down again soon. I think once they do turn, if you can get him for 2.5 or 2.6, he's going to be an absolute steal when their fixtures turn, aren't they? Yeah. The interesting one for me for United is Ronaldo, because we've all talked about enablers and this and that. Ronaldo to Antonio, obviously, he's been in absolutely incredible form. He's got the fixtures. He's in Europe. I don't think he plays every game, but I think he plays most games. Do you think that the saving there of 3 million as what is at the moment is a viable sort of tactic this month?
I've been thinking about that one myself, to be honest. I mean, Ronaldo's fixtures aren't brilliant. Antonio's on great form. Doesn't look to be dropping off anytime soon. I mean, he's full of confidence. He's 4.4 million. It's a hell of a saving what you can invest elsewhere. The only problem, of course, is if you do want to get back on Ronaldo in November or something, you're going to have to do a lot of surgery again, aren't you, to make that move? But there's so much value. He's probably the best at 4.4 million. Antonio is probably the best value player in the game, isn't he? And we're missing. A lot of us are missing out on him. I've got him in a few sites, but not my dream team Tonic one.
Yeah, I think he's 4.8 now. But his legs seem to be holding out this season, don't they? I think he's had a bit of a regime during the summer and trained his body, strengthened his body up. He played in the Europa League as well, didn't he? Scored in that as well when he was suspended in the league. Yeah,
I moved off him when he got that red card, didn't he? And I thought he's going down in value.
Yeah.
Then he played in the midweek game.
Yeah,
exactly. He ended up going up in value, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, crazy.
That's the thing as well. Like you just said about Ronaldo, if Ronaldo doesn't perform 1 week, he will go down 0.3 straight away because he's so high in value. Antonio probably will jump up more because he's so low in value if he does have a good week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the higher the value, the more projected points they're meant to get. It affects it quite big.
Yeah.
I think the Premier League fixtures, I think you could sell because after Everton, they got Leicester away, then they've got Liverpool, Spurs, and Man City. So I think you could get away with them against them. It's the Champions League games. He's so good, isn't he? And they play Atlanta home and away, and Villarreal, I think, at home as well. And he's just so good in the Champions League. And you wouldn't be surprised if he scored a brace or a hat trick. In one of those games. It's so tough.
Yeah.
But that's this risk reward, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah. It'd be scary watching a game and not having him in.
Ugh, horrible.
You wouldn't feel as much dread with Antonio if you're watching Antonio without having him in. But he's been good so far. But is he due an injury? Is he? We jump on to Ray's team. He's got 1.4 million with 4 transfers left. Straight out of the book of Fergi. 27th of September is it today? And he's still got 4 transfers left and he's had a very good start. He's up in 213th place, 426 points. So very, very solid.
I like his team.
Yeah, his team's pretty decent as well, to be fair.
He's got most of it covered.
Yeah.
Obviously with Sarr and Rafinha.
Yeah.
He's got obviously some enablers there for him.
And they're like talismans of the teams they play for as well. So
yeah,
they're quite good players to have in.
One mistake I made last year, right at the end, was I had 2 transfers left at the end of April when I was top. And I used the transfers when I didn't have to. And they cost me points.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I'm obviously saying to Ray, burn your 4 transfers, right? But if, I'd personally, I'd get rid of Shaw there, I think.
Yeah.
That's one kind of definite move. I'd be tempted, maybe, even though Sarr and Rafinha have performed really well, and I think they could potentially continue to perform really well, I'd be tempted to move on off one of those anyway, maybe onto a City midfielder, for example, maybe Grealish if you can, or someone like that. But I wouldn't be scared of burning a transfer or 2, and I say that from experience because it cost me. I think I took out Mahrez, when he scored the 2 goals in the Champions League semi-final, was it, or something? And I took him out for someone else because I just felt I had to use the transfers, and that hurt. And if that had to cost me the win at the end, well, I would have been absolutely sick. Thankfully, I had enough of a lead to hold on, but you don't have to use them. So, but yeah, I think Shaw out for me. I'd probably get a Chelsea defender because you've already got Diaz and Edison. So I'd probably go for Aspilicueta there personally. And the other 2, I think if I could, I'd probably take either Sarr or Rafinha. I'd probably take out Sarr because Rafinha's fixtures are pretty good for a while still. I'd try and upgrade Sarr. But, obviously see how the week plays out as well. And look at the rise and falls. Have you guys got any advice for him? Because he's in a really good spot there, isn't he?
He is. Got a very good start. Same. Shaw out. Probably, Chelsea. If you've got the balls, Alonso. Safer option though, probably Aspilicueta because obviously with James' injury as well, he's probably going to be more nailed on that side. He probably won't be rested much either over the next few weeks if he is injured. So Asp is obviously a safer option. It'd be nice if you could get Cancelo, but for the money, probably not going to be able to manage that.
What about the goalie?
You could take the money out of the goalie. He's got enough transfers to if you wanted to downgrade that and downgrade Edison and upgrade Shaw, which then make it easier for him to upgrade Sarr or Rafinha to a City midfielder. Like you say, the ceilings on keepers, they're not going to score you much. He's going to play most games, Edison. We're going to get a hell of a lot of clean sheets, but he's not going to score like the likes of Cancelo or, say, a De Bruyne or a Grealish will do in the middle of the park. Yeah, it's a very good start, a very good team, to be fair. He's managed to extract them points from Sarr and Rafinha at the right time, and obviously that's shot him up the table. Good differentials there. What do you reckon, James?
I mean, I think you've covered it there. I would be getting rid of Shaw for a Chelsea defender. Um, getting rid of one of those two, either Rafinha or Saar, because you do want more players playing in Europe if you can. But yeah, when I looked at this side, I thought that's a great side, and you've got 4 transfers left.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only clear and obvious move is Shaw to a Chelsea defender, probably Azpilicueta. Yeah,
He's got 426 points as well, so he must be doing really well.
wow.
That's insane. Like,
Oh, 200, he's 213th on the leaderboard.
213th,
yeah,
Yeah.
that's flying,
Brilliant.
absolutely flying. The other thing I'd say about the keeper as well is it's more, again, it's more an observation for last year, but because Man City's defence is so good, Ederson doesn't often get ratings either.
Yeah.
If keep a clean sheet, he sticks to 5. Whereas Mendy, because he makes quite a few saves, gets, I know Mendy's more, but that is a bit of a blot against Ederson. Is that even when they keep a clean sheet, he really gets ratings.
Yeah, he always seems to sit on 5. Next one. Good start anyway, Ray.
Oh,
Doing well,
amazing start.
Yeah.
Well played, mate. Lee Hooper, dreadful weekend for me. Chelsea have City the defence to be on. And any good defence, everyone's talking about defences, aren't they? They're all flying through these questions. I'm sure, Lee, we've probably covered a lot of the defence options, probably some of the cheaper sides. If you had to choose one, lads, who would you be on for this month, Chelsea or City?
Chelsea for me. Man City
Chelsea.
got Liverpool next, haven't they, for the first starters? But Chelsea just seem to be rock solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chelsea for me, sadly.
And me as well, yeah. Boring, but
Yeah, all 4 Chelsea. Don't change out that result at the weekend. A City 1-0 win. They're always going to be a 1-0 either way, that one, weren't it?
But yeah, City's got good run of fixtures after Liverpool as well, so don't discount them.
Yeah, definitely. Phantom Mantle. He's not going to question. He just wanted to say thanks for the Cancelo tip a few weeks ago. First time playing Sun Dream Team, and he's golden. You get used to his points. James has been on. Chelsea have an easy run of games. Is it worth sacrificing the likes of Ronaldo, Salah, Bruno, or Kane for the budget for a Chelsea defender or two? Struggling to see anyone else bar defenders or Lukaku worthy within that Chelsea side. It's a very good point he brings about the Chelsea side, because there's nobody that's a decent option in midfield. Obviously, Mount out injured, who's just a steady player. There's no one in that midfield bracket that's explosive enough, like a Mahrez or a De Bruyne, that's going to get you a big haul. But what do you guys reckon? Is it worth? Is it in your mind to take out a Ronaldo or not a Salah, probably wouldn't, or Kane, to fund them that Chelsea block or City block? James?
Well, yeah, as I said earlier, I've been thinking about it. Man United's fixtures aren't brilliant. If I had to sacrifice one of I don't have Kane. I don't think Kane is. I think the best 3 is Ronaldo, Salah, and Bruno, and Lukaku. But if I had to sacrifice one, it would be Ronaldo. And like we said earlier, Antonio is doing so well at the moment. He could be a cheaper alternative to help free up some funds. So
Yeah.
It's certainly worth thinking about.
Yeah, Fergie?
yeah, definitely. I definitely wait though until after United have played Everton first, and wait until the international break, because you never know with, say, injuries and COVID, your decision may be made for you then, and that makes things much easier. You don't want to be using them early, and then Salah gets a knock, for example, or Lukaku gets a knock, and then you're struggling to get Ronaldo back in because they've got the knock and stuff. So I think it's always worth waiting. So I'd wait until the internationals are over and we're really, really clear, and then you've got your plan for the month. But I do think Ronaldo out, obviously while it has risk, as long as you understand the risks and you make a decision as such, then I do think it's a viable strategy, especially if you're going down to someone like Antonio, who is in the form of his life.
Yeah, definitely. Ben?
Yeah, out of them 4, I'll try and get rid of Bruno first.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah,
unless
definitely.
if you've got Kane and Bruno, Kane's fixtures are decent, but he was terrible yesterday, wasn't he? Um, yeah. So between Bruno and Kane, for me, Kane's very expensive, so you'd probably be able to move a lot of funds around if you take Kane out and go to Antonio. Antonio looks amazing at the minute, just beast
Yeah.
mode at the moment, isn't he?
He is.
He just seems to be bagging every game. Yeah. So yeah, I'd jumping on the Chelsea train like last season, eh, Tony?
Yeah, definitely. Be interested to see. I mean, the fixtures are too good to ignore with Chelsea. Them clean sheets are sure going to just roll in. All we can see is points, points, points. But yeah, there isn't much as the way of midfielders like CH and Mount. Obviously, they put Havertz up top as a forward. Yeah, Steve Cheek's been on. He's also had a very good start in Dream Team. Midfielders seem to be the harder to score points from with so much rotation with European playing teams, especially midfield. Is it a viable option to pick on form guaranteed starting midfielders from non-European playing teams, i.e. Sarr, Townsend, Rafinha? Well, we've just seen from Ray's team, he's obviously had a good start. He's got Sarr and Rafinha in his side, and it's served him well. I think we touched on it earlier about jumping on players that aren't playing in Europe. It's not for me personally, but any of you lads got a difference of opinion there? James?
Well, I think it's perfectly. I think I might end up with one non-European asset because there's some reasonably good players as enablers in the lower budget, if you like. I wouldn't have any more than one, but I don't. I think if you get the right one, like Steve's saying, there's so much rotation going on.
Yeah.
Um, you might be playing the same. If you pick a talisman from a non-European side, he might be playing the same number of games, minus the if you take the rotation into account. So
Yeah,
I don't
definitely.
think we should discount that as an option. I think, but I'd only do it with maybe one player though.
Yeah. You guys agree?
Yeah, totally agree. I think you covered it all there.
Yeah, I think I'd probably be a bit less inclined. I've got a Dharma just purely because he is a cheat code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the only reason. I just personally, if you it's not so much now. It's more in October, November. I think is when the big teams just settle into their rhythm. And I personally just like to see my players have the opportunity of playing twice instead of once, and because they're better teams, they keep more clean sheets and they score more goals. So I think I'd probably be a bit more inclined to I've only got a Dharma because of his price and nothing else. I bought him quite cheap, but I'll be looking to ship on when I can to a European playing player. But that's just personal preference. It's obviously what worked well for me last season.
Yeah, definitely. Right. That's all the questions got through. The mini league top 10. James, do you want to do the honours this week, mate?
Yeah, sure. So in joint 10th we've got Stephen Williams and Peter Crawley. In joint 8th we've got Mick Byram. He's a favourite from last year. There's not looking at the list. There's not many. I don't recognise many names, but Mick Byram was up there last year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I remember having a bit of a battle with him in the mini league. So in joint 8th, we got Mick Byram and Cal Gregg. In 7th, we got Martin Burke. 6th, we got Matthew Westwood. 5th, Niles Koopman. 4th, Jonathan Perrott. 3rd, Chris Rudd. 2nd, Alex Cole. And in number 1 place, we have Jonathan Perrott.
New leader.
Yeah. 2 in the top 4 there for Jonathan Perrott. 4-3-3, which must put him very close to top 100. That I'd guess the whole thing.
I would think so with that score.
Yeah.
Some great scorers on there. So fair play. Well done, Jonathan. Let's have a laugh. Let's go to the differential league. I feel like I'm going to be butt of these jokes again, but I've got more laughing faces next to my score.
Yeah. So when I updated the our notes for the pod, I may have put in a few laughing smileys next to some of the lower scores.
So
Let's be honest, though, none of them are very good, are they?
Well, there is that.
Brilliant.
Cheers, Fergie. Yeah, they're all leaving a lot to be desired. To be fair, the community pick Yotta. They're on 17 points. James Robertson, sound pick. You were the last pick, weren't you?
I was the last pick. Yeah, there was slim pickings, and I wouldn't normally go for a defender, but I just felt he was the best of a bad bunch, really.
Yeah, very solid. 14 points for Robertson so far. Fergie, cheat code enabled. Traore, 11 points.
I can't believe I'm not part of him. It's unbelievable.
And then Ben Greenwood.
Yeah.
You picked him at the wrong time.
Ronaldo's took his place, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So you got yourself 3 points so far.
Yeah.
And I'm sat there at the bottom. Havertz, 0 points.
And Tony.
Which takes my grand total for nearly 2 months to 3 points, I think it is. We'll update that league at the end of the month. But
I think it's harder to score no points than to score points and to pick a player to like if you said pick a player to score 0 points who's got a realistic chance of playing.
Yeah.
That'd be hard to do, wouldn't it?
Yeah, if you had to pick a playing player, somebody who would definitely
Exactly.
Because I don't think Havertz hasn't missed a game, has he? He's played both games.
He didn't play on the weekend. No, he didn't start on the weekend.
Or did he not?
No.
Well,
But you deserve your own award there, Tom, for that, to be honest. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Full of crap picks so far. It's got to change around. Top players, you've got to hit form at some point.
It's hard picking it for the month, though, isn't it? You got to have a proper think about it.
Yeah.
It's easier just going, right, I'll pick this player this week and then pick a different one next week.
I think your player should be banned if he hits over 10% within that month as well. If he hits over 10% on, then you're disqualified. But yeah, so that's the differential so far. I'll update the total league table after the midweek games. I'll put it up on Twitter and up on the website. If you've not grabbed yourself a case of ale yet, get there, beer52.com/tonic. Get yourself a free case of beer. Just pay delivery, £5.95. Loving the beer. Get to the website, dreamteamtonic.com. Read our blogs on there from Ream and FPL. Connor does his Dream Team blog. We've got Reece and Steve with the Sky Fantasy Football blogs, and Mike with his Fan Team blog. All the tools and stuff we use. It's a Fantasy Football Hub. Cracking site. A lot of stuff on there that you need to be a top player. Obviously, Fergie, all your blogs are on there, mate, and your team reveals. Get yourself signed up. It's been great to have you on, Fergie. I know, obviously, you're in a bit rough, mate, and coming after yesterday's result as well. I'm just stopping short and congratulating Arsenal because we don't have any Arsenal fans that listen anymore. But I mean, it would be nice, but it's one of them. You've had a rough week, mate.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for the patience when I lost my mind a couple of times halfway through and I lost my train of thought. I really appreciate it. But great to be on as usual. And I always come away with these pods with some really good ideas for the next month as well. So thanks to you and thanks to all the listeners and watchers as well. Really appreciate it.
Cheers, Bob. Right, guys, we'll speak to you next week. See you later.
See you later.
Cheers. See you soon. Bye.